Now, it's less than 48 hours for the inauguration of the sprawling new Parliament building. The inauguration event, which will begin with a grand puja at 7 a.m. on Sunday, the Sengol, which will be brought to Parliament House in a procession and handed over to Prime Minister Modi, who will install it in the glass case next to the Speaker's podium. Prime Minister Modi will also launch a commemorative 75 rupees coin marking 75 years of India's independence. Now, the coin will have a new Parliament building image on it. It will also have the Ashoka emblem marked on it. 25 parties alongside all BJP state chief ministers are set to attend the Parliament inauguration by Prime Minister Modi, including Yogi Adityanath and Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Okay, we're getting some pictures of the new Parliament building. That is, of course, the massive Lok Sabha chamber. Remember that the seating capacity has increased completely as compared to the old one. This one, the Lok Sabha in itself, will have a seating capacity for its members for about 888 persons to be seated at a given point of time. But it can also accommodate a joint session of both houses of Parliament, which is the upper house of Parliament, the Rajya Sabha, and the lower house of Parliament, the Lok Sabha. So a joint session, it can accommodate for about 1,272 persons to be seated at the same time. As far as the Rajya Sabha is concerned, the Rajya Sabha will have a seating capacity for 384. Again, this has gone up from the previous time, the previous building, the old iconic existing building. That is the new Parliament. In fact, those exclusive images now on India Today that Prime Minister Modi will be unveiling on May 28. In the morning, of course, he will be performing a small ceremony which will take place inside the Lok Sabha chamber itself. The Prime Minister will be walking along with a procession of priests who will be coming in from Tamil Nadu. They will be performing the Sengol ceremony, where the Sengol, which was in fact given to India's first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, in 1947, will be in fact handed over to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who will then install it in a glass case which will be kept next to the Speaker's podium. That ceremony will take place, the entire ceremony as it happened on the day, on the 14th of August 1947 at Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's residence, will be recreated on May 28, 2023. So the Sengol ceremony will happen in the morning. There will be a short break, and then, of course, dignitaries will come in, VIPs will come in, and they will all be seated starting 11 a.m. onwards for the actual unveiling of the Parliament building that is to take place in the afternoon of May 28, 2023. The whole ceremony, the whole inauguration event will be over by about 2:30 in the afternoon. There will be, of course, speeches as well. The Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha, Dr. Harivansh, will be reading out a message from the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar. There will be a message from the President as well. The Lok Sabha Speaker will also be speaking. There is, of course, a block in the itinerary for the Leader of the Opposition in the Rajya Sabha to speak. That, of course, is Mallikarjun Kharge. But given that the Congress is boycotting the session, this entire event, it's unlikely that that speech will happen. But this is, of course, going to be a mega event. Already 25 parties have confirmed their attendance. This includes NDA allies and those who will be participating. They are not NDA allies but will be participating. That includes the BJD, the TDP, the Shiromani Akali Dal, the JDS and the Bahujan Samaj Party as well. So those are exclusive images right now of the two halls, which is the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, as they will look like from the inside. Of course, everyone will get a glimpse of it, a glimpse of the actual chambers on May 28th, when that ceremony first in the morning is performed, and then, of course, when it is officially inaugurated as well. Several invitations have gone out, of course, to all members of Parliament. Invitations have been sent out from the Speaker's office, and then there are invitations for VVIP guests as well. One of them, of course, will be Mr. Ratan Tata, because this, remember, is a project which has been built by the Tata Projects Limited. Tata Group bid for this project a couple of years ago. They won the bid, and then of course they built this magnificent building which is savvy with all the modern facilities and all the technology enhancements in keeping with the 21st century. They're all there, making the lives of our members of parliament much more easier in terms of internet connectivity, their areas so they can sit, the library, the dining hall, all of it inside this magnificent structure which has been built by Tata Group over the last 2.5 years. There was the pandemic-induced lockdown, but that didn't stop the work of this project that continued on at a feverish pitch before, of course, the group declared that they had completed their job, and the Lok Sabha Speaker approached Prime Minister Modi formally and asked him to unveil this building, which will happen on May 28. There's already a lot of buzz around it. There are many, in fact, tourists, onlookers in the area of Raisina Hills who usually just go to look at India Gate, who are now, in fact, looking at the building, the triangular structure from the outside. It is, of course, a magnificent structure, and they also want to witness a little bit of the history and say that they saw the building before it was inaugurated. Remember that the old building, the existing Parliament House, is circular, but this building is triangular in shape. The Tata Group, which won the bid for this project, won it at a cost of about 862 crore rupees, but there have been additional costs over the past couple of years, some of it owing to inflation, some costs that were incurred because of the lockdown which was imposed in 2020, and hence the cost of it eventually, roughly estimated, stands at about 1,200 crore rupees. This, of course, is one part of the larger Central Vista project that the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is overseeing at the moment. So that, of course, is a 360-degree view of the two chambers, the upper house of Parliament and the lower house of Parliament, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha that you're seeing on your screens right now. Exclusive first images on India Today. Remember, the Prime Minister himself, in a surprise visit just a couple of months ago, had inspected the work, the construction work that was going on at that building before, of course, that project was declared complete. Mosmi Singh is now joining us over the phone line. Mosmi, we're looking at some of the exclusive images, a 360-degree view of what those two chambers of the house are going to look like, the upper house and the lower house, and it obviously looks very modern and very swanky.
Absolutely, Pauline, you said it right, because this is swanky, yes, because it's got the state-of-art audio-visual installations. It's an eco-friendly building. And it saves energy, because it's using 30% less electricity. It's a futuristic building, a building of the future, and in fact sends a big message of India's green policy. If you look at the lower house, it's based on the theme of the peacock, and the upper house is based on the theme of the lotus. So it looks really beautiful, the upper ceiling. And if you compare it to the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, current Rajya Sabha, this one gives you also a feel of the modernity of India that looks towards the future, and of course it's far more spacious. The lower house is about 3 times bigger than the current lower house in the old building. And even the Rajya Sabha is more accommodative. Over about 384 MPs can be seated there. And the guest gallery is also more spacious. And because of its triangular structure, Polemy, the pictures, the images that we see, it gives a sense of space. So truly, a building that is going to be celebrated and commemorated for what it carries from the past and how it looks towards the future.
A very spacious Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha chamber that we're looking at on our screens right now. Mosmi Singh, thank you so much for joining us with those details.